Hey y'all. So I got saved about 7 years ago, and it was in the spring of 2019. And it was not even a few weeks into after me getting saved that I came across a couple on YouTube that were ministering to people about the Lord, and they were talking about fasting. And they had started encouraging the people watching their channel to fast with them. And every Thursday, they would fast from sun up until sundown and begin to talk about the benefits of fasting and the importance of fasting, and the spiritual discipline of fasting. It wasn't the first time that I had heard about fasting, but it was the first time that I had really understood fasting as a spiritual discipline. Because prior to that, my introduction to fasting really came out of the New Age movement. Y'all may remember 10 to 15 years ago, there were a lot of online influencers talking about, alternative diets and alternative diet lifestyles, eating vegan or eating fruit-based or eating all raw or eating, no meat, eating whole foods, plant-based, all the things. There were so many different possibilities. And I remember really exploring that in my own diet at the time, and had even at one point pursued a pretty extensive cleanse. And I remember on that cleanse, I wasn't eating any food, but I was basically on a liquid diet. And I'll get into the details of that in another video, but it was pretty profound. And I remember having what I thought was somewhat of a spiritual experience, but I just didn't have the language for it then. I now understand what it was, and it definitely was the Lord. But again, this was several years before I got saved. So when I got saved, I was introduced to fasting, not understanding at the time that it was a spiritual discipline. But the more I began to just pay attention to it, God just kept sending it to me. He kept sending me videos about it. He kept sending me YouTube videos of people, online influencers who were Christians, who were talking about fasting as not just a spiritual discipline and a way to get close to the Lord, but as a spiritual weapon. So that, quite frankly, made me a little nervous, and I did put it off for a long time because I was already experiencing some pretty serious warfare as a result of getting saved, and didn't really want to invite any more, drama in the spirit realm into my life. So I put it off for a long time, and many months into getting saved, I finally heard the Lord tell me very clearly, and I do not remember if it was that He dropped into my spirit or if He said it audibly, but He was very clearly telling me that I needed to fast, and His exact words were, fast. So I did. And I didn't really know how, I didn't really know how long. He didn't give me any details. He just said fast, and so I just kind of dove into it. And I think I did what I saw the couple do before, which was to just fast, from sun up to sundown. And so throughout the first, few months of my fasting, it was more exploratory. I think I fasted for a few hours, one time a month, and then I fasted for maybe a day, and then I fasted for maybe, a partial fast from sun up till sundown for 3 days. I remember attempting to do somewhat of a corporate fast with a group of women I didn't know very well, but had met, through a mutual friend, and one of the ladies was hosting a fast, and so I joined that fast, and I think that was for 5 days, and we got on a prayer call together for a while. So this was all happening, throughout the year of 2020. And it was right before COVID hit that the Lord told me to fast. So 2020 goes by, and by the end of that year, I had really picked up on some of the more key principles of fasting. The first being that clearly the Webster's Dictionary defines fasting as abstaining from food. So I wasn't doing like a liquid diet kind of a thing. I was truly not eating and simply drinking water. I wasn't drinking coffee. I think there were a couple times where I may have had tea, but it was essentially just a water fast. So I was doing that, understanding that fasting really is meant to be a sacrifice. Our job is to put the flesh into submission. And so I picked up that principle and applied that. I picked up the principle of prayer, right? So if you just are fasting and not praying, you're just starving yourself. If you're just fasting and not praying, you know you're just on a calorie deficit. If you're fasting and not praying, there's not an opportunity to get closer to the Lord, and that's really the point of fasting, is to get closer to God so that you can hear Him more clearly, so that you can pursue Him for the things that you're fasting about. So I really made a point that year of getting into prayer frequently throughout the period of fasting. So sometimes I'd go into prayer and I'd be there for 2 hours. Sometimes I'd go into prayer for maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'd go back in, and an hour later, I'd go back in. 2 or 3 hours later, I'd go back in. When I say go back in, I just mean back into prayer. So there's been times where I've been home and I had the pleasure of just going into my prayer closet and praying there. There have been times where I was at work and I would just go into the restroom and pray there, or go to my car and pray there. So the prayer part of prayer and fasting is clearly essential. You got to do it. And then the third principle that I picked up was giving. And it took me a little while. It wasn't until I think that summer that I really understood that giving was such a key part of fasting. And that's based on the book of Isaiah chapter 58. Y'all got to check that out. It's a wonderful chapter on fasting in the Bible. And it talks about the kind of fast that God approves of, which is to be self-sacrificing in our fasting, and to be thinking of others in our fasting, and to be, putting forth a heart of agape in our fasting. So once I understood those three principles, I really noticed that my fasts started to get more Holy Spirit led. And by the end of that year, I was able to pursue my first extended fast, and I tried to fast for 7 days in a corporate fast with other believers to pursue the Lord, about some kingdom work that we were all trying to do together as a unit. And to my surprise, I managed to get through those 7 days and exceed them, and I made it through a 12-day water fast, which for me was amazing, and 1,000% the job of the Holy Spirit. I could not have done that on my own, so I know that was Him helping me get through that. And it was absolutely an amazing experience because I could hear the Lord clearly. I got closer to Him. The Holy Spirit's voice was so evident to me, and my spiritual discernment was like on 100. It was great. So that was really my introduction to fasting, and I have been consistently fasting ever since. So we're talking almost approaching 7 years of fasting consistently. And what I mean by consistently is either every month. There was even a period of time where I was fasting every week. I've done 1-day fasts, a few hours of fasting. I've done 3-day fasts. I've done 7-day fasts. I've done 3-week fasts. I've done a 40-day fast a couple of times now. So all different ways, just trying to be led by the Spirit, and the benefits are incredible. So I encourage anyone who's thinking about fasting to really just dive into it, be led by the Spirit, let God walk you through the process. It is absolutely worth it. And I just bless you all for sticking around and watching this video, and I encourage you to do some research on fasting yourself and come back to this channel if you want to learn a little bit more about it, because we're going to dive in and it's going to be very informative. So God bless you. May God bless you. May He keep you. And